Let's talk about the liberation of Sita by Volga. Volga is the pen name of the Telugu writer and poet P. Lalita Kumari. I was going through a bit of a reading slump and was looking for shorter reads. So, this one at 132 pages was the perfect fit. The book jumps right into the stories. There are no prefaces, no disclaimers, not much of a build up either. So if you don't know about the epic Ramayana or the characters in it, I'm not sure how the read will be for you. Although, now that I think about it, it might still make for an interesting read because you can either pause at certain places, read about the events, and come back, or go in totally blind and not care much for what happened to the characters but how they dealt with the situations. Maybe that's how the writer wants you to look at it too. Not harp on about the injustices they suffered, but what they do about them. Now, what are the characters victims of? That's what the novel looks to unpack. It consists of five stories, five short stories, the first four of which are Sita's interactions with Surtnakha, Ahalya, Renuka, and Urmila. These are all familiar names within the epic, and some even play a seminal role, but we know little about them as people, more again about what happened to them, the events that happened. The liberation of Sita is a feminist lens to a patriarchal text. So it revolves around how these women in the epic navigate such a system and how they go about finding their redemption. It also throws light on the role caste plays and how caste becomes another barrier to overcome. Now, it wasn't until the end of the book, when I read the author's interview, that I realized that these were written as independent short stories. I happily went on reading it thinking they were just chapters written in continuation, thinking that it's a non linear plot line. And it works quite well as that as well because each story furthers the narrative. The last story in the series of these five is named Shackled and puts the spotlight on Ram. Now, I'll take a pause here and tell you about my experience in this genre, which is retelling or revisiting classic stories through a feminist lens. My first one was Chitra Banerjee's Palace of Illusions. And being a fan of her work, I naturally also picked up Forest of Enchantments. And I thought that book set out to rebrand the characters. So you see a more humanistic side of Ravan, who's a lot more than the demon that he's made out to be. And then you see Ram, almost ungodly, who's unable to take a stand for his wife. And of course, you have an empowered Sita who is making her decisions. So the hero Ram becomes a villain that the protagonist Sita must save herself from. So, comparing this to what we see in the liberation of Sita, here it shows characters bound in a system where women are clearly disadvantaged because of the gender hierarchy. And in the midst of all of this, what does happiness look like? Does it lie in the acceptance of gender defined roles? Sita is shown to embrace this system dearly because she doesn't know better. She loves Ram and finds meaning in being his wife, his companion. She also carries the confidence that the system that has wronged others will perhaps not wrong her. She's young and in love, and who amongst us haven't experienced this? Haven't we looked at culture around us and felt like we can change it? So, when I look at new age brides and see their efforts to reclaim their space in a traditional institute like marriage by partaking in the customs and traditions like keeping Karwa Chauth, wearing sindoor, Mangalsutra, etc., while also confidently making more empowered career choices, whether it's being within their own home or outside of it. I do wonder if they are simply pandering to the patriarchal template of what a woman should be like because it's also convenient. I'm not judging these women because, as women, we do pay a huge price for swaying away from the archetype. I'm just wondering if one can bring about change conforming to the system, and this thought has been sparked by the novel. Also, when we call ourselves progressive within a traditional system, how much freedom do we actually have? Or is it the illusion of freedom? So, at the heart of the book lie these conundrums, and the author tries to give us some answers too. She acknowledges the sacrifices women must make and the judgment they face regardless. Through Sita's lived experiences, she tries to drive an important point that it's a broken system and redemption won't come easy. The last chapter is a reckoning that Ram, who is the biggest benefactor of this system, is himself bound or shackled, as the title of the story is. Does culture, ideology, and religion flow top down from the king to his subjects, or bottom up where common people become the flag bearers of tradition? And similarly, does change start at the top with our leaders or from the grassroots upwards? Who is a villain? Who is a hero? Is there a villain? Is there a hero? Or is it just cultures and their dogmas that force people to enact the way they do? Is it possible to rise above these? Maybe it's possible to create some wiggle room within these conformities while holding on to your agency. Or maybe the only way you can free yourself is by walking away, just like Sita. And that's it. That's my humble submission.